uses her skills as a fine dining chef to bring joy and delicious meals to a local food bank here in Toronto. She joins us today to chat about her work in the community and share an easy frittata recipe. Everyone, please welcome Chef Maddy Goldberg.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I am so amped to meet you. Now, you volunteer at Toronto's Fort York Food Bank.
Yes.
Absolutely fantastic. You do that on a weekly basis, but you've been posting your work at the food bank on social media and getting so much attention because you've been making really delicious food.
Yeah.
Now, this is from your training. You actually started off in the restaurant biz.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know what to do. You now run your own private dining company, fantastic, called Cook Eat. So what made you want to get involved in the community in that way?
I think for me, food was always sort of based in my community. Like, I fell in love with cooking because I just loved eating good food all the time. The best way to eat good food all the time is learn to cook.
Yeah.
And so kind of like my base was cooking for friends and family. And then once I started sort of, I guess, transitioning from being a home cook and becoming a private chef and actually working professionally in kitchens. One thing I realized working specifically in fine dining, which is where I started, you're sort of disconnected from the people that you're cooking for.
It's true, you send that plate out and it comes back clean. You don't actually see them enjoying it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think also the reality of fine dining for me is when I was working in restaurants, I felt sort of more connected to almost my home cooking side, which is feeding people.
Yeah.
Whereas when you work in a professional kitchen, the reality is food is perfect, and what comes with that is sometimes waste and some other kind of unfortunate realities.
Totally.
When I was working in fine dining, I always knew once I sort of figure out what I'm actually gonna do with my career afterwards, I wanna kind of find out about a new food system. And so that's what brought me to the food bank.
Okay, cool.
When I started my private dining business, I suddenly had time to kind of do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so I started volunteering at the Fort York Food Bank about 4 years ago, and then that's what brought me here today.
Yeah, which is so great. I love it.
So exciting.
That's fantastic. I think it's so great because one of the things you really kind of encourage your viewers online too to do is to, and I think it's what you do also at the food bank, is you use up what you have. Because you walk into a food bank, you don't necessarily know what you're going to be cooking with that day. It's just whatever was donated, whatever is there. So I'm really excited because today you're going to show us something using something that most of us have on hand, and that is the delicious egg. I love an egg.
Yes.
I love an egg. Okay, so what are we making?
Well, firstly, anyone that knows me knows I love an egg more than anything. And we're gonna be making a squash and sage frittata.
Beautiful.
When I'm at the food bank, a frittata is something I do all the time because high protein, and also you can just use vegetables that are on hand. We're using a squash today, and if I were to see a squash at the food bank, I would get so excited because normally that means it's fall, it's in season, and it would be a go-to item.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm gonna show you guys like the way I would approach it, which is first, I like to cut the squash thin. I'm doing little half moon shapes. That's mostly because it just looks really beautiful when you put it in the pan, as you're gonna see.
You can tell it's a squash in that way. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You see that
also,
shape.
I find people eat with their eyes, so when you get this half moon shape, I'm gonna show you how we layer it. It looks really beautiful.
Okay, fantastic.
I'm gonna put the slices into a bowl here, and then I'm just gonna add a little light seasoning. I like to keep the integrity of a vegetable. Just adding a tiny bit of oil. I'm gonna do a little cracked pepper.
One thing I also love in your videos too, especially when you're cooking at the food bank, is you use a lot of really whatever oil's on hand. It's not always olive oil, it's sometimes canola, it's sometimes whatever. And that's fantastic. And another ingredient that I personally love and talked about already today, garlic powder.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. I think for me, I'm working at the food bank where I'm not getting necessarily fresh garlic all the time. But when I have things like garlic powder, I can sort of mimic those flavors. And again, it's working with a vegetable like squash and then trying to bring out the most from that vegetable. So I'm just tossing that. I'm using a spoon right now, but if I was at home, I'd probably do a little toss. And then once that's nicely coated, again, it's just salt, garlic powder, a little cracked pepper, and oil. I'm gonna get you to pass that pan over. And I'll show you how we'd be layering it into the pan. I'm just grabbing each slice, and I like to sort of layer it just slightly over top.
Almost like a deck of cards.
100%. Yeah, I love that. I also think like people are always eating with their eyes. So, you know, the more beautiful you make the food, the more it seems like love is put into it, and then people are more excited to eat it.
And I think that's such a beautiful thing, what you're doing, especially at the food bank, because you're not just making food to get food into people's bellies, you're making it so they enjoy it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I kind of, you know, I'm cooking at the food bank, but I'm also at the same time like cooking as if I was cooking for my friends and family.
Yeah, I love that. Okay,
it's reconnecting to the community. So I'm gonna get you to throw that in the oven. We're gonna roast the squash just for a short amount of time until it's cooked through. And then we can see that. While Mary's grabbing that, I'm gonna show you guys what I do with the eggs. So here I have 6 cracked eggs in a bowl, and I'm just adding a small amount of milk. If it was dairy-free, you could easily use dairy-free milk, and then just a little bit of salt and pepper. Again, I like to keep the integrity of the delicious egg. And then I'm just gonna grab a whisk here and whisk that together.
Perfect.
So now that our squash is all cooked, we can add the egg, and all we're worried about at this point is just cooking the egg through. We don't have to worry about the actual squash cooking through.
Because we have already got it there.
Exactly. And then you're gonna cut up a little bit of sage for me, and we're gonna finish that frittata with the sage.
Beautiful.
So I'm just gonna pour the egg over top.
This is one of my favorite go-tos. When I don't know necessarily what I want to make, a frittata is always on the menu.
Yeah, for me, I like a frittata. It's like a quiche, but it's easier. And again, it uses literally any vegetables. You can make it in season. You can also theme it for holidays.
Yeah.
You can, if it's your best friend loves butternut squash, you can make a butternut squash one and tell her it was for her.
Oh, see, I love that.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
fantastic. So we're gonna put that in.
Yeah, exactly. So we've put that in the oven, and again, we're just looking to cook the egg through. And when it comes out, it should be solidified, really beautiful with that sage on top. It smells so nice.
At this little number. Absolutely beautiful. We can easily pop that out, pop it on. I absolutely love that. That is so good, Maddie.
Yeah,
I
thank
am
you.
very excited to eat this. You're celebrating the squash. You're celebrating just feeding people, which is such a beautiful thing to do with your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here. And Maddie, we know how hard that you've been working to help others this holiday season and all year long. So we thought you deserved a little R&R. So thanks to our friends at their Maya Spa Village in Whitby, we're sending you and a guest to relax at their Wellness Haven. It's the perfect escape. We can explore those nice soothing rituals, immersive, delightful treatments and massages and everything like that too.
Thank you so much.
Super, super great. And also to help you provide more meals for your community, Farm Boy is gifting you $1,000 to go towards purchasing food for the Fort York Food Bank. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
You slap. This is awesome.
Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.